So good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Workforce Wednesday webinar. My name is Kirsten Bayer with the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support at Illinois State University. I will be on for moderation and facilitation today. So if you need any logistical follow-up questions following today's webinar or have any questions about the recording or technical issues today, you can feel free to reach out to me via the chat. I'm joined by my colleague, Antonio Gomez, who will be supporting the referral work group, who will be presenting to you today. So thank you for joining us and spending your morning with us. Couple of housekeeping things before we get started. This webinar is being recorded and it will be posted on our Illinois Workforce Academy website within 48 working hours. And then it will also be posted on Illinois WorkNet as well. We also have the slides from today to provide to you all, and I'll put those in the chat here momentarily as a PDF, but then we also will have those provided to you on the websites too. You'll receive a follow-up email tomorrow that will have the hyperlink where you can access the recording and the presentation, as well as a follow-up survey. A lot of these people who are on the referral work group who are on today going to be presenting to you also sit on our WIOA Professional Development Committee. And we do review those surveys on a quarterly, yearly basis sometimes. And we look at the feedback to make sure that we're meeting the system where you guys would like to see professional development at, that the professional development that we're offering you is meeting your needs. The survey is only about 5 questions, so I do encourage your participation. And I'll put the survey hyperlink in the chat towards the end of the session as well, if you would like to go ahead and take it right away and not wait for the follow-up email tomorrow. We do have closed captioning on today for accessibility reasons or note-taking purposes. If anyone would like to turn that on, you can do so with your Zoom toolbar. For participation today, we ask that you keep your cameras and microphones turned off while we're going through the presentation. And then at the end of the session, when we open it up for Q&A, we encourage you to turn your microphones and videos on and participate and have that open dialogue, Q&A, or discussion with our presenters who are joining us today. Do be mindful, though, that we are on Zoom meetings, so you do have the capability to turn your cameras and your microphones on. So just make sure that you don't accidentally hit that button, or if you would like to keep your camera on during the session, the presentation, that's fine. We love to see your beautiful faces. However, just make sure that if you step away or need to go use the restroom or do take a phone call or something like that, that you turn your cameras off. So just being mindful that you do have that capability on this Zoom meeting, whereas sometimes on a Workforce Wednesday webinar, we're on a Zoom webinar platform and you don't have that capability. So just being mindful of that. With that, I think that's all the housekeeping I have. I'm going to start off with our beginning polls that we do every Workforce Wednesday webinar. So the first one is just, where is your location at today? So if you could go ahead and answer this really quickly. Where's your local area at? We'll give everyone about 30 seconds to answer this poll, and then we'll move on to the next one. If you ever joined a Workforce Wednesday webinar before, you have probably seen these, and we do appreciate your participation. These are for analytical purposes that we look at on the WIOA Professional Development Committee and use to report out. All right, I'm going to end that. Looks like we have a couple people from up north and central Illinois, and then a little bit more from southern Illinois, and even some statewide. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. And then our next poll is just, which partner do you best represent? Let me stop sharing this one. So if you best represent Title 1, 2, 3, 4, or other WIOA partners and stakeholders. So we'll give everyone a couple seconds, a couple more seconds to answer that. All right. Looks like we have a couple people from Title 1, or most of our audience is Title 1, a couple people from Title 2, and a couple people from Title 4. So thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time. And I'm going to hand it off to my colleague, Antonio Gomez, to start the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. So the way that today is going to go is that we're going to have a little bit of a pre-recorded section because we've got representatives from all four titles who have pre-recorded. But then I will go into a live demonstration. Director Patrick will hand it off to me, and then I will hand it off to Kathy Olson-Tracy to finish us out. But we welcome, once the video has ended, questions, suggestions along the way, because we do want this to be as helpful for you as possible. So we want your feedback. We want to help you, and we want to answer your questions. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will watch this video together, and then we'll reconvene right after.
Welcome to today's webinar, where we will do an overview of the new Illinois Workforce Development System Referral Relationship Guide. My name is Carrie Thomas. I'm the Deputy Director for Business Services at the Illinois Department of Employment Security, where we administer Title III of WIOA, also known as Wagner-Peiser. I'm going to turn it over to Kathy.
Hi, I'm Kathy Olson-Tracy. I am the Senior Director for Adult Education and Literacy at the Illinois Community College Board, and I oversee Title II of WIOA, which is also Adult Education and Literacy. And I'm going to turn that over to Ruth.
Hi, my name is Ruth Whitus. I'm the Central Illinois Regional Workforce Manager, representing DCEO, Office of Employment Training, and I represent Title I WIOA.
Hi, my name is Renee Patrick, and I'm the Director of Rehabilitation Services, a division of the Illinois Department of Human Services, where we administer the program of vocational rehabilitation, Title IV of WIOA.
As you heard, we have somebody representing each of the four core titles of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act at today's presentation. We were all members of the referral work group, and you can see on this slide that there were many other individuals from different Illinois state agencies, from the different titles, who are all participating in the referral work group. The referral work group came about from the Illinois Service Integration Work Group, which was a work group of the Continuous Improvement Committee of the Illinois Workforce Innovation Board. During the Service Integration Work Group's work, and they were working on a number of things, they did a series of focus groups with over 100 frontline workers of the system. And on this slide, you can see that 19 different topics were raised during those conversations. They're represented here. And referrals, partner communication, eligibility and stability, and eligibility in general, or eligibility suitability, and then eligibility in general, and tools. So all the things in the dark green emerged as top things that came out of that group. So as a result, the Illinois Interagency Referral Work Group was formed in response to that feedback. And the work group, the work group members had all been members of the Service Integration Committee. At the same time that this information was collected, the Governor's Commission on Workforce and Equity and Access was convened, and there was a lot of information that came out of that, both from customers as well as frontline staff. Understanding and helping the state workforce system better collaborate were themes of both groups. When the Illinois Referral Work Group got together, the four core partners really wanted to focus on what our responsibility and what our sort of leverage points were as state agencies and administrators of the titles. So as a result, we really focused on creating a purpose statement for our work, which really honed in on what is our shared responsibility as state level entities to set our expectations and some standards for referrals, and really focusing on the fact that partner collaboration across the workforce system, both locally and at the state level, is really the key to effective and high quality referrals. This is the purpose statement we came up with, and it grounded every meeting that we had. Now I'm going to turn it over to Ruth.
So the state understood that communication was essential for any referral among all partners. The group also understood that a shared understanding of eligibility was the first step to good referrals. The group decided to make a voluntary tool to support frontline workers in making referrals, and again, to make good referrals, a basic understanding of eligibility is needed. The tool is voluntary because there are areas across the state that have their tools and processes. Again, like Carrie mentioned, this group was formed out of a clear need for tools to support service integration. The group began compiling basic eligibility requirements for core and required workforce programs, and then transferred information into a user-friendly draft guide. To ensure local understanding, the work group surveyed frontline workers from each agency on the work group. Based on that feedback, the work group edited the guide and created the final version. Members of the Department of Rehabilitation Services coordinated accessibility reviews and connected with the Illinois Department of Innovation and Technology to ensure Illinois accessibility standards were met. This brings us to today and sharing our work. The guide has been finalized and is on Illinois WorkNet. For the next steps, the group plans to coordinate transferring the guide's information into an automated tool. We're very excited to be able to present this work to everyone today. Kathy?
Thank you. So when we talk about referrals, what we are really looking at are the grounding principles of the guide. What are a referral at the local level and the relationships that lead into them? So we're looking at high quality referrals within our workforce ecosystem, and they have to be part of your local customer referral collaboration processes. We know that we have wonderful work happening across the state, and we're simply creating a tool that will help guide frontline staff and identifying all the programs and resources are available to individuals. So we're looking at these high quality referrals that will benefit the customers and the partners, and they go beyond the welcoming introduction stage of the relationship and really go deep into how can we really connect the student, individual customer with the needs in that area. So I want you to keep in mind a few key elements. This guide is a voluntary tool. It is designed to help you build referrals and build high quality referrals at your local level. It does provide you high level descriptions and basic eligibility criteria for all of the things that we provide throughout our workforce ecosystem. What this guide is it's not a replacement for the current existing structures in your local workforce. It is not a mandated process that you must use. It is not intended to replace your local program specific eligibility. It is a tool that can help you expand and build high quality referral systems. So how the program information is organized is there is a program name, there is a brief description of services, and there's basic eligibility information. So we are looking at who the project serves, what the eligibility criteria are, and there is a section in there where you can customize it to your local level and identify who your local partners are. So with a click of a button and a Control-Alt-Find, you can identify very quickly what is available to the individuals coming into your system.
Each page describes one workforce program, and each program has the same layout. The name of the program is at the top of the page. Underneath the program name are services provided, a brief high-level description of services. Under the description of services, there is a list of basic eligibility information, who the program serves, and high-level eligibility criteria. Again, all the information is meant to provide frontline workers with a general understanding of eligibility. Ruth mentioned this at the beginning, but this group really prioritized accessibility and usability. In addition to the accessibility reviews, the group added instructions and reminders. The group also reviewed each other's program information to make sure that the program information was jargon-free and in plain language. On the right side of every program page, there is contact information for that program. The state, agency, and its website is listed for every program. Beneath that, in the blue line spaces, there is room for local areas to add the members of their local area who work with that program and their contact information. And for folks who use screen readers, those blue line spaces will be identifiable by your screen reader. Make it local. Because the guide is meant to help local practitioners understand who is responsible at the local level for each program, it is essential for referral relationships. Each partner is encouraged to add their contact information and review quarterly to ensure contact information is up to date, because we all know things change. In addition to the contact information for each program we just talked about, some of the customizable features are adding your local workforce area to the title page and additional pages at the end of the guide for local areas to add local programs.
The guide is available on the Illinois WorkNet site. You can find the guide by going to the Illinois WorkNet homepage. You can look under announcements. So the top left-hand side of this slide, you can look under announcements and you'll see a link to the Illinois Workforce Development System Referral Relationship Guide. The other option is to scroll down to the section that has tools, guides, and initiatives, and you'll see a tile for the referral, for a link to the referral guide. We will now pause to take questions and do a brief demonstration of the guide.
All right. So now we've reached the practical part of this webinar. You are free to unmute yourself. You're free to ask questions as you're going along, or you can drop them in the chat. Either way is great by me. I'm going to reshare my screen. And actually, Director Patrick, if you could get us started.
Yes, absolutely. So it's my pleasure to introduce Antonio Gomez, and thank you so much for everyone who's attending.
All right. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to Illinois WorkNet. If you want to follow along with me, I think this will be a much more enjoyable experience than just watching me do this. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat for you all. There we go. Okay. Now that the members of the Illinois Referral Work Group have discussed the impetus and features of the Illinois Workforce Development System Referral Relationship Guide, or the Referral Guide for short, the work group thought that a virtual walkthrough of the guide would be the best way for everyone to understand its features. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce myself. Thank you, Director Patrick, for introducing me. My name is Antonio Gomez. I'm a Workforce Innovation Coordinator with the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support. I've worked closely with the staff of the referral work group, namely Sarah Blaylock, who has been the key person throughout this process. So I want to give her a shout out. And I'm excited to demonstrate the guide's features for you today by working through a few customer scenarios. And then we're going to open up the questions for requests and questions. We have a couple of example scenarios, but if you want to just shout out different things that we can look up as I'm going through this guide, we're happy to do that. And I think that would be engaging for us all. I've dropped a link in the chat. You can follow along as we go. I'll share my screen. I've already shared my screen. I apologize. I'm reading a script. And Kirsten will be in the chat to monitor as I go. Now that we are at Illinois WorkNet, the first thing that I want to say is that you can use this with any browser, but we have found that Google Chrome works a little bit more seamlessly with WorkNet. So I'm currently using Google Chrome. Firefox also works really, really well. The reason that I am using Google Chrome or Firefox is because it shows a little side panel where you can see an overview of all the different pages and navigate it a little bit easier. So I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. The first step that we're going to do is up here in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see this partners icon. If you click that, that's going to take you to our Workforce and Education Partners website. And if you have questions along the way, please drop them in the chat. If you click Partners, you have two options to view the guide. Up at the top in the announcement section, we've got this link right here that'll open that in a separate page or in a separate tab. And then if you scroll down in the Global Partners tools, you'll be able to see another one down here. This one at the bottom will actually be the permanent home of the referral guide. The announcements is just temporary for now. But I wanted to point out the announcements because right here, if you can see my screen, click to send a message. We'll send a message to the Illinois Referral Work Group if you have any suggestions. This is a new tool, so we want to take if you find any broken links, or if you think that anything could be updated, or you find any typos or anything like that, please let us know. We're open to hear those suggestions. So for now, while it's in announcements, we've got that link there. It will go away once it sits in its permanent place down here with this icon. But please send us your feedback in the meantime. We want to hear what you think. So just to emphasize that this is going to be the permanent place, I'm going to click on this one down here, which will open it in a new tab. And as you can see, using it in Chrome here, I get this side panel where I can view things a little bit easier. And you can scroll down to the appendixes where you can add your own information down here, just like the presenter said earlier. Okay, I'm just making sure that I didn't miss anything. All right, the first thing that we want to see here is that we've got this blue tab right here. You can change this to put your name. I'm going to put Antonio Gomez for myself, or your WIA or anything like that. Just know that none of this information will be saved until you have saved a copy to your computer. So make sure that you hit the download here if you want to keep your information. Otherwise, we've got space for local partners and local contacts, and that information will be lost if you don't have it saved to your own device. So please save it to your device. That was a long way of saying that. There are the first few pages that have already been covered by the work group. So I'm not going to go into detail with there. What I do want to point out is that here, page 5, what I'm going to do is basically going through the instructions on page 5. And then 6 is our table of contents. All of these are interactive, so that's a way that you can go through and interact with the guide. All of these are links that will lead you to that resource. So there are 2 ways that you can navigate this guide. Well, 3 really. If you're using Google Chrome or Firefox, you've got this side panel here so that you can scroll through a little bit easier. But the main ways that you're going to be able to access information are by using the table of contents to click something, or by using Command or Control F to search. That'll be your built-in browser for this. That also works once you've downloaded a PDF of this in Adobe, but it especially works with online. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to show you what using the table of contents look like. We're going to say, for the sake of this example, that we're looking for JTED, the Job Training and Economic Development Program. So I'm going to look here in the table of contents, and I'm seeing WIOA, Title 1B, Title 1B, Title 1B, Clean Jobs Workforce Network, CJO Workforce Hubs, Climate Works, yada yada, Job Training and Economic Development Program, Adult Focus, and then Youth Focus. So I'm going to click on the adult focus just for the sake of this example, and that will automatically take us to page 14. And this will be the same pretty much throughout the guide. We've got the name of it, the adult focus over here, services provided. JTED aims to address the economic impacts experienced by employers and individuals who are either underemployed or unemployed or underrepresented individuals, including youth, with one or more barriers to employment by providing career pathway opportunities and support services and barrier reduction needed for successful reentry and advancement into the labor force. These are very high-level descriptions of what these programs do, but it also has over here basic eligibility. Adults 18 plus, which will change if we've got the youth focus. See down here, it says youth 16 to 14 who reside in Illinois are eligible to work in Illinois at the completion of a training program. So I'm going to go back up here. Criteria for eligibility: unemployed, underemployed, or underrepresented adults who need the training to access employment or skill upgrades to advance their employment. 18 years or older, reside in Illinois, and are eligible to work in Illinois at the completion of the program. Priority is given to immigrants and refugees, justice-involved individuals, and rural students. Do we have any questions so far? All right. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat. I can see it. I'll keep monitoring in. And if I don't see something, Kirsten will bring it to my attention. The other important thing here is this blue section, contact information. This is where you get to personalize your guide. You can have your local partner here, type in their organization, your point of contact, their email, and their phone number. And this is the case for all of these here. So once you've got this manual downloaded, I apologize, I'm going to mute myself to cough a little bit. Sorry about that. Once you've got your local partners here, this guide becomes a lot more customized to your needs at the local area. And again, this is very high level information. It's not meant to be exhaustive. It's just meant to be a helpful reference tool. Okay. I am going to try a different situation as well, because we're going to pretend that we have a customer in front of us and we need to navigate this quickly. And I don't know exactly what I'm looking for based on the table of contents. So I'm looking at this table of contents and it's just giving me descriptions of what these programs are, the program names, and I don't know exactly what I'm looking for here. So in that case, I'm going to go through and use, if you're using a Mac, you use Command F. If you're using a Windows, you use Control F. I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to use Command F. And that pulls up this little search bar up here. And in here, you can type whatever you're needing. So let's say that I'm looking for the Job Corps program. There we go. We have a Title 1C, Job Corps. I can click here and go there, or I can use these little arrows to navigate. And it looks as though Job Corps appears about 10 times. So I can go through and click through and see every single time that the word Job Corps appears. It's very similar to when you're editing a Word document, you're using Control or Command F. All right. Let's say that the customer that I have in front of me is a homeless individual, and we're wanting to see what supports there are for homeless individuals. I'm going to type homeless here, and we can see that we've got 4 different results. The first one is WIOA Title B, youth out of school. And you can see here, these are the services provided: career services, job training, related services to unemployed or underemployed youth eligible to work in the US, but not in school. So this would be for somebody who is an out of school youth, ages 16 to 24. For purposes of WIOA, the providers provide adult education. You can go through and read all the criteria, see if the person in front of you is eligible for these services. Let's say that we've already gone through this. This wasn't helpful. Let's go to the next one. Looks like the next one, it's the same one, so we're going to skip. We've got career and technical education, individuals who are from economically disadvantaged families, as far as eligibility over here, individuals preparing for non-traditional fields, single parents, out of workforce individuals, and you can kind of go through the line and see what other things line up here. Program services provided, the state agency over here. That's something that I think I forgot to point out the first time, is that up at the top of contact information, it has the state agency information. And then you down here can put your local partner and customize it to yourself. But this is your contact for CTE. Let's go to the next one. Jobs for Veterans State Program. So we can see, is this person a veteran? Must be eligible for an eligible vet or an eligible spouse, at least have one of the following. Unemployed, has a recognized disability, is a Vietnam era veteran, recently separated from active duty, referral to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, experiencing homelessness, justice involved, and we can see if that is going to meet their needs. So we've already hit all 4. We've got C404, so it's going to get us back to WIOA Title 1B. And we can do this with anything that we can think of. Sometimes the terminology might not be exactly what we're looking for. So maybe try a couple different variants, or maybe scroll through to see if there's a different term that's being used in the guide. But if there are things that we can add, that's what that suggestion box is for in the announcements portion of WorkNet. So let us know if there's something that you want added. Let's also do a search for unemployed just to see what pops up. We've got 10 different results. We have a Title 1B, dislocated worker, services provided, basic eligibility, contact information, and then our local contact. Go down, unemployed, out of school youth. Do they fit that specific situation? Back to JTED, adult focus. I'm assuming that we're also going to get JTED youth focus. Yeah, there we go. JTED youth focus. Unemployment insurance, who your partners are there. Jobs for veterans. So again, if they are a veteran, you can just kind of go through with all of these. I'm going to also, just for the sake of the example, we'll just go back to the top. We've hit 10 out of 10. We go back to 1. We owe it Title 1B, dislocated worker. Let's do high school diploma. And there we go. Title 2, adult education and literacy. Here are your state agencies, education services to assist adults in improving their basic skills, focus on foundational skill development, completing a high school diploma, or improving English language literacy in order to transition to post-secondary education training or the workforce. Basic eligibility as well. It's very much the same thing over and over again. And we built this in order for you to be able to navigate it quickly with a customer in front of you. Okay, I've done a lot of talking. Now it's time for you guys to talk. We've got a couple of example. Yes, sorry, I see something in the chat. When I click we owe a Title 1B out of school youth program in the title context panes, it takes us to we owe. Oh, okay, so a broken link. Thank you for letting us know. I'll take note of that and we can fix that. We appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Let's go through some example scenarios. If we don't get any suggestions, we've got some backup, since this is recorded, of example people that we can go through. And if we need some examples, we can definitely go through that as well. But I would prefer to get suggestions from you guys. So what's something that we can look up, say that we have a customer in front of us, to help them out? You can drop it in the chat too if you'd like to.
How would we find services for a 27-year-old unemployed male in an urban area and just see what's available to him?
The first thing that I heard off of that is unemployed. So we would go through and search unemployed up here, Control Command F, and just go through. See, we've got a WEO Title 1B dislocated worker, career services and job training and related services for adults. So 27-year-old would be an adult at that point. We can also search adults in that case up here, because a lot of these services, again, adults 18 plus, adults over the age of opportunity youth. I've already forgotten the age bracket. Give me a second. But we can go through unemployed, see if any of this fits. If it doesn't fit, we'll go to the next one. Out of school youth, unemployed. Since our person is over the age of 24, there we go. They're considered an adult, so this one is not eligible for them. We would cross that off the list. Skip to the next one. Job training and economic development program. Adults over 18. We see that this person is eligible here. Training to access employment or skill upgrades, 18 years or older. Do they reside in Illinois? Eligible to work in Illinois? These are all questions that we can go through with them as we're talking to them. The next one is on the same one, so we're going to skip that. And then we've got youth focused. So we know that this is youth 16 to 24. So we're going to skip this one. And then we've got unemployment insurance, eligible unemployed people, monetary eligibility, and eligible reason for job separation would be the other one. So we just kind of go through and talk to them, try to get a little bit more information. We go through, we see jobs for veterans. Is this individual a veteran? No, we move on. Senior community services. They're not a senior because you must be age 55 or older to be eligible. We've got a 27-year-old, unless I forgot that number already. I apologize for that. I have the memory of a fish, but not eligible for senior services by a long shot. So we're going to skip that one. And then this is the same page. We've hit 10 out of 10. So we're going to go back to the top. So sometimes we won't be able to find something, but this is meant for if we have something. Was there another demographic that I missed?
No, I think it's beautiful because with the local partner add addition where you can customize it, you can find out immediately who to contact. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Any suggestions from the crowd? Housing resources. Let's look up housing. Look at that. The first thing that we've got is, we've only got one hit, but we have Title 1D National Farmers Job Program, and we've got services provided, housing assistance services. In this one, I would also say maybe look up homeless as well. Try a few couple things. And that one we saw earlier that has 4 different hits. So we would go through and see, are they eligible for any of these? That was a great one. Any other suggestions? English language learner. Excellent. So the full phrase gives us 3. If we just type in English, let's see how many that gives us. That gives us 8. So since we've got a little bit more hits with just English, let's go through that first. So the first one, the English language learner, so that's an exact hit. And that would be, we owe a Title 1B, youth out of school. So we would see, is this person 16 to 24? And do they fit the other eligibility as well? If they're not, we move on to the next one, because we've got Title 1B, youth in school. Are they a youth in school, low income, lives in high poverty area? All of that same criteria. Then we move on to adult education. Are they 17 and older? And if so, then we can go through our contacts here. So English language literacy is another one here. So we can see that maybe we could also search up English language literacy, but we're searching up English. So we honestly don't have to go through that one again. But I just wanted to show you, like, as you're going through the guide, you'll see other ways that things are phrased. And once you get familiar with the guide, I think you'll have a better understanding of what to look for. But try a couple of different things as you go through. English language acquisition is another way that it's here. Supplemental nutrition assistance programs, employment and training, SNAP and employment and training, services provided, all that kind of stuff. This is a new one that we haven't seen. So it serves individuals and households receiving SNAP benefits who are seeking employment or training opportunities to improve job prospects. Criteria, this one's a little bit longer, so we're going to have contact information on page 2. I'm going to go through, we've got one more, and that's the same, I think, senior community services. So if this individual is 55 or older, then we can refer them to Senior Community Services Employment Program. This is great. Any other suggestions? I'm going to go through one of our examples. I'm also going to do a split screen, so hopefully everybody can see well. Give me just a brief second to rearrange my screen, and then we should be good to go. All right. So one of the examples that we had here was Eloise. She's 26 from Kankakee. Eloise is an openly bisexual new mother who wants to provide a stable life for her daughter. She has little to no support from her family who are not comfortable with her sexuality. She is not currently working, but does get money from friends for helping with hair or makeup for occasional events. She's receiving WIC, Medicaid, and has just started a TANF application. So a few things that we can pull from here. She identifies as LGBTQ+, so that's something that we can look up here. So I'm going to go back to Command F. Let me make this a little bit smaller so we can see the full page. That is, of course, if it wants to do it. It keeps wanting to do Command F over here. I need it to do over here. Let's try this again. There we go. All right, so LGBTQ. And we've got one, Climate Works Pre-Apprenticeship, person who identifies as LGBTQ+, transgender, or gender nonconforming. She's 26, so she is classified as an adult as she's over 24. So we can search adult. We've got 21 hits for that. So I'm going to skip through the table of contents here. We owe a Title 1B adult. We've got a couple of hits there. We owe a Title 1B dislocated worker, and we can go through the eligibility there, see if she's eligible for any of these. We owe a Title 1B out of school youth. She is 26, so she does not qualify for this. And we just go down JTED, adult education and literacy, all the way through. She did not mention being married. So we can ask for clarification if she's single, or we can just go through and see single parents. So I just typed in single. We've got 3 hits. We've got CTE, career and technical education, single parents, including single parent women. Going down to the next one, jobs for veterans. So is she a veteran? We can ask that to see if she's eligible. And that's all the hits for that. She's unemployed. We already searched that. So you know what comes up with there. And we also know that she's receiving Medicaid and feels that she's eligible for TANF. So she may be living below the poverty level. So look up poverty. So if she lives in a high poverty area, she's eligible for we owe a Title 1B, but she's not an in-school youth. So we're going to skip this one. We've got CJA, child poverty is the Climate Job Workforce Network, Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, or Clean Energy Jobs Act is the new, what that CJA stands for. Child poverty, unemployment, we can see if she qualifies for any of these. Number 3, we've got Climate Works pre-apprenticeship, see if she qualifies for that or if she's interested. We've got temporary assistance need for needy families through employment and training, and we've got your contacts, which is IDHS, Family and Community Services, and your contacts over here. And then you can put in your own down here. Senior Community Services, she is not a senior again, so we're going to skip this one. We owe Title 1C Job Corps. Is she below the federal poverty level, education level, motivation and commitment? And then we've got your contact information, which would be the U.S. Department of Labor, ETA Office of Job Corps. We've got the website there. She's applying for TANF. Let's see if TANF shows up. Look at that, temporary assistance needs. So we can help her through applying for TANF. We've got a whole page on it, services provided, assist TANF participants in gaining skills, training, work or experience that will increase their ability to obtain regular employment. Services include high school equivalency, GED programs, associate or bachelor's degree programs, community service, work experience, employment, self-subsidized or unsubsidized, vocational training, job search and job readiness, job skills, training related to employment, non-core, and education directly related to employment. So those are the services that could be provided to somebody who's looking for TANF. We'll skip ahead. There's a lot here, I would imagine, since this is the whole page. And we're back to the top. So we hope that this was helpful. Is there anything else that we want to look for before we end the demonstration? All right. We thank you so much for joining us for this. We've got a couple more slides left, so I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Kathy Olson-Tracy, and I'm going to reshare the slides.
Hey. There we go. There we go. Okay. It's only been 5 years since I've been working remote virtual meetings, and I still struggle with mics and cameras. Okay. I want to thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate your attention to how this guide is set up. The idea of customization at the local level allows you to create a resource that is something that will expand referrals. But I wanted to kind of focus on the guiding principles of this guide. We're looking at building high quality referrals that are the best suited for our clients, our customers, our students, so that they can engage in our system in a meaningful way. We are referencing our referral as a collaboration and a strategic partnership where we refer customers to each other. It's beyond a simple referral, hey, go here, hey, check this out. It's more about these relationships to support our clients, our customers, our students as they engage in the system. And we believe that this ties into coordinating referrals and the sharing of resources and strategizing together as a team to meet the needs of our local communities. We're defining a referral as a process by which an individual organization directs a customer to another entity for specific services. Our purpose is to make sure that our clients, our customers, our students are connected with resources that meet their needs. So this tool can help you find those resources in your local community to make sure that your students have access to these services. Partnership referrals need to go beyond the initial introduction and really building a system where these individuals are supported through these collaborations. Next slide, please. Okay, what can you do now? What you can do is check out the guide. What you can do is present this to your local partners and fill out and customize this guide as a referral tool for everybody working in our system. What we can do now is distribute this widely once it's customized so your teachers, your frontline staff, everybody in your system knows how to find resources that are available for their clients, customers, and students, right? So we can take this document, customize it, and distribute it widely within our system so that people know how to find services in their area. We want you to use this as a tool to engage in conversations at the local level with your partners so that you can understand the services that they offer, and we can talk about eligibility and suitability for our referrals. And then finally, we would really like to know what you think. Share your feedback with us. Tell us what you think and how you're using this tool. How is it improving your referrals and the quality of the referrals and the sustainability of our system? And where do you think we could make some adjustments or improvements so that we can continue to meet the needs at the local level? So I'm hoping that you will take this and distribute it widely and share it at your local level. Next. Okay. We would like to open this up for questions. All of our partners are available. So we would like to see what you have to learn from us and how we can share our thoughts and ideas. And then I'm going to ask a question of you about one of your takeaways from today and how you think you can use this at your local level. Jessica says, we plan to work on this at our next partner meeting. I think it's wonderful. That is so exciting that you're going to take this already and use it with your partners. Thank you. I think that's absolutely wonderful. I'm not seeing any questions, so I am going to give you one more question as participants. When you saw this for the first time, what was your initial thought? Do you feel like this is going to help you make high quality referrals to support the individuals in your community? I like the comment in the chat.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Everything just went black on my computer, so I apologize.
That's okay. I was just going to also mention that I think everybody kind of gets into their own title or whatever partner is, they're working in their own jobs, right? And so I think this will be great because it helps us to really stop and think what the other partners are actually doing. With the questions like even our board members, sometimes they're like, hey, we weren't sure what to or how to refer to this person. So even down to that level, I think it'll be helpful too. So we
Well,
plan on
thank you.
to board members as well. And yeah, I think it can not just reach partner level, it can reach a lot of people. So I think it'll be great.
I love that idea of sharing it with your board as well as your frontline staff to help everybody understand what your local system can provide and how to best serve your community needs. I love that.
And then just to read that chat for people who are phoning in, Lauren had said, yes, sometimes referring individuals is missing and they're just told no without resources.
Mhm. Right. Hey, it doesn't sound like we have any additional questions or comments.
All right. Any final thoughts before we move along? Do any representatives want to say any final words before we stop this webinar? All right, hearing none. Thank you so much to everybody who put this together. Thank you so much to the referral work group, to Sarah Blaylock. Thank you so much to our presenters for meeting ahead of time and pre-recording their portion. And we hope that this was very educational. This will again be recorded and available on the Illinois Workforce Academy. Kirsten, is there anything that I'm missing before we close out this webinar?
Nope, that's it. Just be on the lookout for the follow-up email tomorrow with the hyperlink and the follow-up survey. All right. Thank you so much,
Excellent.
everyone. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Have a wonderful day.